It's 12:03. Yeah, I'm gonna go through a short spiel and then it's gonna.
Well, why don't we start gathering people because it's 12, right?
Yep.
We want to keep us on time.
Okay.
We got people here.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do this.
Let's do it. Hello, everybody. Hey, hi.
Hello, hello.
There we go.
Okay, so all three mics are on.
Okay, we can use this one. Good morning, good afternoon, and all that stuff. It's great to see y'all here. You all ready to celebrate ethics today? Yeah.
Make some noise.
100%. My name's Baron Eliason. You guys got a great crowd today. My name's Baron Eliason. I'm Chief Integrity Officer. What that means is with High, who's the ethics officer out of City Managers, you give him a big hand because most of this
Thank
is
you.
for High.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, 100%. So what I do is train. So if you want any special training on things, please grab me, get my business card, and we'll do that. But I want to recognize some folks that are here, the Inspector General's Division back there, our special speakers. We've got some folks over here to my right with the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. They came, the Dallas chapter. Go talk to them. Thank y'all for being here this morning or here for lunch. But we're here to celebrate ethics. And ethics is about good roots, right? It's about good roots. And let me explain what I mean. I had this big fig tree at my house. It was literally this big, and the leaves were huge. And I put it in my backyard, and you know what our dog did? Tore it to shreds, right? It looked like a baseball bat that had been broken in half, but we kept it. And guess what happened? It came back. You know why it came back? Good roots. Say good roots. Let me tell you about good roots. Ethics in the city is about good roots. When I do training with people and they ask me questions during training and afterwards, you know what that's about? I used to be a pastor, so I'm looking for you guys to, you gotta feed me. So when this happens at training, what is that about? That's right. When people are concerned about what's happening in this city, what's that about? When speakers like the city attorney and Councilmember Willis and TC and Liz and Bart, the Inspector General, when they show up, what's that about? Some people said, is this just an event on the calendar, or is there really something going on with ethics in the city of Dallas? And the answer is, there's something going on. And I know it because I've seen these good roots. And that's why all these people are here, to talk to you about that. So let's celebrate that today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've got some food for you. We're going to play ethics bingo. You don't want to miss that. We got some awards we're going to be giving out to people that are really ethics achievers, people who are good roots. So let's begin now. First up to bat is Mr. T.C. Broadnax, City Manager. Let's welcome him. Let's make sure.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Now, listen, I can't let Baron outdo Miss. Can you touch your neighbor and say, it's Ethics Week? Just touch your neighbor. And touch two people. Touch two people. And tell them it's all about ethics this week. So, welcome to Ethics Week celebration. It is definitely a great occasion in which we can come together to celebrate and reaffirm our utmost commitment to ethics and transparency, as well as openness and honesty here in the city of Dallas. It is a day of reflection and reinforcement and a rekindling of our collective and dedication to doing the right thing, upholding the highest standards of integrity, and building and maintaining the public's trust in our great city. And as I often say, you don't have to look around the country in local governments, state governments, and at the federal government, where people seem to dismiss the value of what integrity and ethics means, and they discount that, particularly as it relates to public officials. But I'm here to say I know our organization and what we stand for and our values speak highly to ethics and integrity. And I want to make sure, as the city manager and as you've seen in our values, that we demonstrate that, and that shows up every day of the week. Ethics was fundamentally placed in our core values when I arrived here at the city. It is one of the 5 values that we have, along with empathy, engagement, excellence, and equity. Our commitment to our commitment to ethics is not just reflected in our actions, but in our way of life and how we identify when we represent the city of Dallas. And so while I'm city manager and while you're city employees, please be guided by the understanding that people will judge the city, they will judge you, they will judge your department and your coworkers on actions that you take. And as I always say, it's as simple as this. If we say we're going to do something, we need to do it. And so I'm proud to be your city manager. This is going to be a great day. Apparently, I am going to do a little conversation with the gentleman. So hopefully you stick around and we can hear directly from people who are practicing ethics on a daily basis. So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, City Manager. Liz Cedillo Pereira, Assistant City Manager. It's really a pleasure and honor to be with all of you today, our esteemed colleagues and dedicated employees of the City of Dallas. Can you join me in giving yourselves a round of applause? It's really with immense pride and a heart brimming with excitement that I stand before you today and celebrate and acknowledge the extraordinary achievements and unwavering dedication really all of you show in your service to our beloved Dallas. Each one of you, more than the 15,000 city employees at the city, play a pivotal role in shaping the future of Dallas, a future that we envision as more prosperous, equitable, and ethical for everyone. Your hard work and your commitment are not just tasks performed on a daily basis. They are really profound acts of empathy and engagement, touching the lives of our countless residents who call Dallas our home. You exemplify the highest standards of ethics and excellence, serving as beacons of hope and pillars of our community. It's because of your efforts that we see a city flourishing with possibilities and opportunity. And as TC says, as we look to the future, why don't we carry with us our 5 core values: empathy, ethics, excellence, engagement, and equity. They're not just words to us. They are guiding principles that define who we are and what we aspire to be and become. Your embodiment of these values inspires me on a daily basis to wake up and do our job, and all of those around us, fueling a sense of boundless possibilities and potential for what we can achieve together. And this is very much what we're talking about today, to see all of you here today, a real commitment by the City Attorney's Office as well as the City Manager's Office to come together around the values of ethics, along with our policymakers like Councilmember Willis, who's here today. So with that, please join me in welcoming Councilmember Willis to the podium.
Good morning. I want to begin by commending our city manager, assistant city manager, ethics officer, and those who took part in planning this week and its events. Of all the business conducted at City Hall, this may be one of the most important reasons to convene and to celebrate. And it's caused me to reflect on the career, indeed careers, I had before becoming a city council member of the 9th largest city in America. One of those careers was as an advertising executive, where I thought for sure I'd make my way to Madison Avenue in New York, but I worked for an agency here that had the Johnson & Johnson medical account. Not super glamorous, but it introduced me to the Johnson & Johnson Credo that was created in the late 1800s and that I heard leadership and staff mention often in meetings. It went through every aspect of their organization. They lived it. And I see parallels between the J&J Credo and the City of Dallas's 5 E's. Now, with Johnson & Johnson, a medical product company, they were looking at their patients and consumers using their products. Well, for us, that's folks coming in to pay their water bill. That's people calling 311 and 911 or walking a code inspector around their property. For J&J, they included their employees. Well, that's you. Because having a strong organization means respect and support for the engine that runs it, and that's you. The Credo included communities. That's our neighborhoods. It's also our schools, our seniors, our children, our citizens, and our residents. And finally, there's stockholders. And at the city, that's our taxpayers, our residents. Literally like the heartbeats that keep our city alive, and those who choose to invest here, locate their businesses here because they believe in Dallas not only economically, but philosophically. So I want to shift a little bit forward and maybe look backward. In 1909, the city of Dallas bought Oaklawn Park that became Lee Park, that is now Turtle Creek Park. And up until becoming a council member, I was president and CEO of the Turtle Creek Conservancy, where I raised funds to help take care of the parkland and of Arlington Hall. And during that time, I sought professional certification and became a CFRE, a Certified Fundraising Executive. And one of the key components of getting that certification is ethics, accountability, and professionalism. Because if you're going to ask somebody for a 7-figure gift for the benefit of Dallas residents, you need to earn their trust. And that's what we are all doing every single day. As Mr. Brodnack said, even the smallest acts throughout the day need to answer the question, is this the right thing to do with regard to empathy, ethics, excellence, engagement, and equity? So let's count on each other to keep each other in check, to do the right thing, and to continue building the trust that our residents deserve and that we deserve from one another. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tammy Palomino, and I'm the City Attorney for the City of Dallas. I'm excited to welcome you to the first annual Ethics Week celebration. Today, I want to give a special thank you to the Chief Integrity Officer, Baron Elias, Ethics Officer Hai Tran, and the Communications Department for putting this week's events together. They did a great job. I also want to welcome the Dallas chapter of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Thank you for joining us today. That means a lot to us. So this city deserves our best, and I think it starts with ethics. Ethics should matter to all of us, and that's why today and all of this week we are spotlighting and recognizing and celebrating the city's commitment to ethics. Through the amazing leadership of the mayor and city council, the city has invested in ethics. City Council established the Inspector General Division a year and a half ago, which not only investigates fraud, waste, abuse, and violations of the Code of Ethics, but they also educate and they advise employees and city officials on the Code of Ethics. As the city attorney, I was privileged to work with the Ad Hoc Council Committee on Ethics to establish the Inspector General Division and to simplify the code, which is still a work in progress. I want to say I'm very proud of the work that the Chief Integrity Officer and the Ethics Officer have done to engage employees and city officials in a conversation about ethics through events like this, through the Ethics Matters newsletter, through training, networking with departments, and so much more. I thank you all for participating in this week's events, and I look forward to seeing you all next year. So let me invite our last speaker, Bart Beavers, Inspector General. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First off, thank you so much for showing up. It means so much to me to see your support by your presence. And I can tell you, I say that on behalf of myself, and I say that on behalf of our entire division. Thank you so much. We are the people's watchdog. If there's anything that you forget today, the one thing I want you to remember is that we are the people's watchdog, the residents of Dallas. And that's what we do. We are the folks who are assigned the responsibility of making sure that the city of Dallas does things the right way. We teach and enforce ethics using national standards. And those national standards that we use are published by the Association of Inspectors General. They call them Green Book standards. And so I've had the question before, why do you use those standards? We use them because they're fair, they're time-tested, and they work. And that's what we do. It's important for me, for the people of Dallas, not just the folks here in City Hall, to know who we are, what we do, and how to get in touch with us. That's important. I also think I started in the fraud industry in 1988. And to this day, nobody's ever asked me, why do you do what you do? And so I try to bring that up when I get the opportunity from time to time. There is a symbiotic relationship between unethical behavior and public trust. We all played on playgrounds when we were kids. Remember the seesaw? One side goes up and the other side goes down. There was an old saying from years ago that said, when lawlessness increases, the love of people grows cold. What that's describing is when you reach out with your left hand and you push down on unethical behavior, when you push down on fraud and corruption and that kind of stuff, public trust comes up because that is the symbiotic relationship. That's also the recipe for gaining public trust because the public will not give that to you. You have to earn it. And that's how we plan on earning it. We are a work in progress. I think a speaker or two had mentioned the progress that's been made in the last year and a half, 2 years. We are a work in progress, and we have 5 investigative responsibilities: fraud, waste, abuse, corruption, and ethics violations. Those are the investigative responsibilities we have. We don't have jurisdiction for 2 of those. We do not have jurisdiction to investigate criminal fraud, and we do not have jurisdiction to investigate corruption, which would be Chapter 36 of the Penal Code. But we're a work in progress. We're moving forward. We plan on making improvements and trying to become more like what we need to be in the future. I'm hoping that those plans would be more independence. And I'll leave you with the words of a friend of mine. He said this about 15 years ago. When he said it, it shook me in the core of who I am. And he said, when an inspector general's office doesn't have independence or authority, it gives the mere appearance of oversight, which is worse than no oversight at all. And that shook me because I think he was right. So have we become everything that we're going to be? I don't think so. I think we're going to keep pressing ahead, and I can't tell you how excited I am. If I could pick any job on this planet, it would be the one I've got right now, 6 times a week and twice on Sunday. It's an honor to serve you as citizens and residents of Dallas. Thank you very much for showing up, and I wish you the best.
All right, that's what I mean, good roots. Did you hear all that? Those were good roots. Now we're going to hear some more about good roots. I want to invite a guy who works in the water department, David Halter. Come on up. And TC, I'm going to invite you to come up here. David was a part. You want to tell him what it was about?
Hello. David is our first prize winner of the Ethics Essay Contest. Give me a round of applause for David, please. Daniel. I love Daniel's essay. It is so touching and so passionate, and I cannot thank you enough for your dedication and your service. Very excited to have you today.
See how many people came to hear Daniel today. Give it up for Daniel.
Well, I wasn't nervous, but I am now, I guess.
So listen, Daniel, I think being the first-time winner of the ethics essay contest, one is a big deal. And so I wanted to make sure that the other city employees as well as a lot of their directors got to hear directly from you as we had a lot of participation in this essay contest, and really to get your perspectives and hear a little bit more about the essay that you wrote to give folks some perspective of, one, why you won, but also to really highlight what's going on inside your department. So let's just take a little deeper dive into that. So hopefully these questions will be easy, obviously, for you because you wrote the essay, right? So working for DWU is a big deal. It's one of the larger departments we've got. And your essay, particularly around what was the bad news, I think share with people kind of the context of your essay if they didn't get to read it, but what was the bad news after you do that or issue that you and your team decided to really escalate to the leadership that really set the stage for your essay?
Yeah, sure. So it really wasn't an issue as it pertained. It was issues when we do get them at the plant. Historically, what was happening, I about 10 years ago promoted to plant manager. And when we'd get an issue, and when I say an issue, something that's kind of outside the boundaries of our normal operation, there was this question about when do we call the executives and let them know that we have this issue, especially if it's going to impact outside our facility, either an odor control or sanitary sewer overflow. And so my team and I got together and we thought the way we were doing it, it was you're always trying to gather information and get as much information as you can before you call the executives because they want answers. And in these situations, what we were doing is probably maybe causing issues because we were not giving them a heads up that something was happening at the plant. And so we just decided to adopt a policy that the bad news is going to be told as quick as possible. So we call it bad news first. So.
Okay, I like that. The quote that I'm going to quote for those who didn't read the article, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, directly from your essay, was the decision to embrace transparency and communicate openly about issues, no matter how small, marked a turning point for our facility. We adopted a philosophy of reporting bad fast, allowing our executive team to proactively address any potential problems. And so as I think about the culture of this organization, right, that particular quote and that sentiment speaks volumes because I think the theory is it's like, hey, just keep your head down and do your job, and nobody wants to be the messenger for bad news because it never turns out well because the blame game begins to start, right? And so how was this new philosophy, I think, a game changer possibly for you and your team? And how would you equate that to speak more broadly in the entire organization and why that would be important?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one of the things, and I'll kind of use an example here, is if you're approached by someone that's trying to sell a raffle ticket, if you're like me, you give the $5, and you're pulling something away from you. That $5 means a little bit now, but you're hoping that there's a good feeling because you've reached out and probably helped a really good organization or something, with that $5. But if you're like me, you put that raffle ticket in your pocket, and you don't even look at the prizes because you're not assuming to win. And when we did this, it was kind of like purchasing that raffle ticket. Instead of the way we felt when we were having to report bad news, we are pulling something out from inside of us, and that is having to admit that, hey, we're in trouble. And when you have as much pride as I do and my staff do with the facility, to admit that there's something wrong in the first place is kind of heart-wrenching. So, I mean, if you can dodge a bullet, what we call near misses, they're pretty well welcomed. But instead, we've decided to go ahead and do like the raffle ticket thing. And kind of like a raffle ticket, you might get a phone call, probably not, but a phone call maybe a month later saying, hey, you won grand prize, come pick up your brand new car. Well, you'd be surprised because you didn't read the raffle ticket. Well, I mean, not the raffle ticket, but the ticket. So in our case, we didn't read the ticket as well because we ended up getting something that, and I think, TC, you're going to really appreciate this. We got something as a surprise as well. So historically, when we were given this news of something going bad at the facility, what we found out that it was delayed. They should have known a lot sooner. And so there's a lot of excitement when the executive has maybe just a couple hours to respond to something that's going to affect our plant outside our facility instead of having information that they could have had probably about 12 or 13 hours. And what we noticed is when we were making those phone calls, there was a lot of excitement on the phone, very uncomfortable conversations, if you will. One of the questions being is, how long did you know about this? And by just going ahead and just saying, hey, we're going to report this right away, what we noticed was instead of that uncomfortable conversation we had, we got something too that was part of the values of service, and that was empathy coming from the other side. And so when they know they have plenty of time, they could, even if they recognize some of the apprehension in my voice or something like that, that I'm worried about the situation, you get this calming, hey, calm down, we got plenty of time to take care of this. We're going to do X, Y, Z on our end. You continue doing what you do. And in the end, it was a win-win. So that was our prize at the end of it, is the empathy that come out. We were not expecting it. I didn't read the ticket, so.
Well, so listen. So first of all, did everybody hear that? The more you feel comfortable sharing and not just running just to tell on somebody like my kids do, but to really just share and be frank, and obviously I would encourage come with some solutions and or some thought around it. It really gives everybody in your entire operations the opportunity to really collectively begin to think about it instead of last minute reactions and playing defense, right? And so again, thank you for that. DW is one of our larger departments. And so while I think this new approach, and I think around the transparency piece, applies internally, tell me, did you have any thought or has that translated to how you handle your customers and or the people that rely on you for service? Does that same type of approach still apply when folk call you and you got to deliver bad news or whatever? Tell me your thoughts on that.
So one of the things, especially the people that know what we do, is we would prefer the customers not think about me. If they've got my facility or myself on their mind, it's because we've done something bad, being a wastewater treatment plant. But I'm kind of blessed in the way of I've got 3 miles worth of barbed wire fence and an armed security guard at the front, so I don't necessarily deal with what a lot of for the customer service part. But thinking about that is if we had a situation that was brewing that would require that, okay, I'm going to have, let's say, a sanitary sewer overflow because I've got a pump station down, and I've waited to the point where I thought I had all the information, gave it to my boss, but an hour later, this sanitary sewer overflow happens. My boss is probably going to get a call from somebody because they looked out their window and seen raw sewage coming down the street, bubbling, percolating out of a manhole like a coffee pot, and not have any answers. And so their first reaction is probably call you. It's going to roll a little bit downhill. My boss is going to end up getting this call, and then he's going to be talking to the citizen. What the citizen's going to get is probably not the answer they were looking for because I haven't really supplied my boss everything that they need, or I didn't give them enough time to prepare for something like this. In the scenario that we're talking about right now, what would happen is if I told my boss immediately that we had an issue, not knowing how big it was, but that we had an issue and we started addressing it. As it progresses and we start getting information on his end, he's going to do stuff that's actually outside of my scope, and that is probably get the collection system involved. So what's going to end up happening in the long run is ultimately if this bad situation that I just kind of had there is, if that ended up happening, they're probably going to look out the window and see 2 or 3 utility trucks out there, even before the sewage was coming out of the manhole. So if they, they're going to also see the controls in that to try to mitigate the environmental impact and some of the problems with the streets in case there's some kids around and stuff like that. So they're going to have a totally different look at what they're going to see just because of the decision that we decided to make. On top of that, what we'd expect is if it did get to the point where my boss ends up getting that call, he's had 12 or 13 hours to really get his head around what's happened and give a more intelligent outcome to what the citizen's actually looking for.
Got it. So tell me again, how long have you worked for the city of Dallas?
24 years.
Oh, boy. So give him a round. So as a 24-year employee, and as we're talking about ethics today and our overall values, what would you say around this issue and or around your experiences, particularly if you want to hone in on our values, what would you say to a new employee as it relates to the context of some of our discussion today around issues and things that come up and just having worked here? And what would you say for the people who have been here almost or longer than you are around ethics in this environment that we're in and how that really impacts the day-to-day work that you do or should and how you manage through that? What would your words of wisdom be today? And that's the last question, so you can be as deep as you want to be.
Well, I appreciate it since it's the last question now.
I want to just relax you so you can focus on this.
Thank you. But anyway, yeah, that's a really good question. If anyone was to come to our facility and say like they wanted to do a tour, which we're way up, giving tours, we give them all the time to schools and that. The first thing they're going to see is on our buildings is the values of service. Those are on the outside of some of our buildings. In the inside, we scatter them all over. And there's a reason that I do that. That is because if we base our decision making based off of those values of service, and my staff knows, and so do I, when we're responding to something in writing or something like that, one of those 5 E's are going to be in that as far as our response, showing that we've given that some thought. But what we've noticed is by doing that, it's guided us to make the right decision. I'm going to be honest here, is I put it in there in case I got in trouble. I could say, hey, city manager's the one that, wants us to do this, and that's how I based it. But what I really was shocked is it works. So if it is an ethical issue, or if it's we're doing a lot of on the not so much on the engagement because of that fence I told you about, but we do a lot on the improvement section. So we have a continuous improvement project. We still do a lot of the Lean Six Sigma work. I'm a green belt. I've got a couple other green belts on my staff. And so, everything that we do is, when we're trying to make changes and we're trying to innovate and try to do the right things, if you base it off of any of those 5 E's, one is you can blame someone else, but most important, like I said, it actually works.
Well, thank you. Can we give it up for Daniel here?
Thank you so much.
Congratulate him, and thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'm turn it back over to you. All right, thank you.
All right. Well, I think, see if you, let's just show of hands. Who thinks it would be unethical to keep you away from lunch any longer right now? Yeah, I saw 2 hands go up. So we can wait a little longer. We're going to play a game. I'm not even kidding. We're going to open up the lines for you to go to lunch, but we think games is a great way to learn things. It's fun. We got this Catch the Canary game. It comes in your email. In the last month, we've had over 2,000 people play this game, right? That's good roots. That's people caring, or maybe they just like games. I don't know, but High is going to call out Speed Bingo for you. Now, everybody sitting in a chair has got a bingo card. There's some more bingo cards and pencils over there. So while we're going through the lunch line, let's play some bingo. We'll see you in a bit. We're going to do some awards.
All right, guys, feel free to line up over there to grab your lunch. We're going to play bingo as you come along. All right, first call for bingo. C6, retaliation. If you have C6, mark that. All right. Make sure to mark your card. You're going to win a prize. C6, retaliation. You cannot do that. Retaliation is prohibited. Yes. All right, next one. E20, public property. One cannot use city resources for personal use. E20, E for Emily, E20. Do you have E20? All right. You got E20. All right. All right. Next one. T3. T for Tim or TC. T3. Standards of behavior. As employees of the city, we have to be respectful and kind to each other. We have to be respectful and kind to one another. Yay! All right. T3, everyone. T for Tim. Next one. I won. I for ice cream. Purposes and principles. The purposes and principles for the ethics code is put the interest of the public first. I won. All right. Next one. H52. Investigations. 52. Investigation. If you would like to know how the investigation process works, reach out to us, myself, the ethics officer, or Baron, the chief equity officer, or just watch out for our newsletters. All right, investigations, H52. Next one, E19, E for Emily, E19. Outside employment. Can you have outside employment? You could, with the exceptions, if it interferes with your duties or your judgment, then you cannot. Next one, I5. I for ice cream again. I5. Discrimination. The Code of Ethics prohibits discrimination. You cannot discriminate. Next one, C17, confidentiality. What does it mean? You have to keep confidential information a secret. Next one, T8, T for Tim. The duty, oh, slow down. All right, where are we? You won? No! All right, everybody wins. Come on. Give us some music. Huh? Oh, I have to read it? Okay.
You see,
Oh, right,
when you
okay.
play ethics, everybody wins. That's, did you get that? You get it? Yeah.
We all win with ethics. That's the message. Yes. Please don't go anywhere, everybody. We are going to hand out awards to many, many, many winners. So please stay on to support your colleagues. You should do it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. If you are one of the winners, please come up to the front row. Yeah. So I'm going to go through the list of winners. If your name is called, please come to one of the chairs in the front. All right, we have the ethics essay winners. First prize, second prize, third, fourth, and fifth. I'm going to call out your name. The first prize winner, as we have all heard from, is Daniel Halter. Daniel. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh. All right, give it up for Daniel, everybody. Yeah! Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it, Daniel. Congratulations. All right, second prize winner. Do we have our second prize winner? Joshua McConnell. Joshua, please come up. From the Department of Development Services, DSD. Thank you for your essay, Joshua. Thank you. All right, our third prize winner is David McBride from the Department of Park and Recreation. Give it up for David. Thank you, David. It should be, yes. Thank you, David. All right, Park and Recreation. Congratulations. Fourth prize winner, Joseph Cook from the Office of Community Care. Do we have OCC in the house? Joseph Cook. Yes. Congratulations, Joseph. Congratulations, Joseph. All right. Our fifth prize winner, Cedric Secundiata from the Department of Code Compliance. Give it up for Cedric. Code Compliance, yeah. Thank you, Cedric. Congratulations. All right.
Let's get a picture with you.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Carl.
These are your gifts.
All right. Yeah. All right. Now we have the winner of the Inspector General Hotline Naming Contest. It's exciting. All right.
All right, so here you go. See, try this on for size. The new name for the hotline is, somebody do a drum roll.
Drum roll.
The Whistle. The Whistle is the name. That comes from a mystery employee with DSD who was out of training and shouted that out, and we can't figure out who he's. I think we got a representative from DSD right here who's going to receive the certificate until we find this guy. So we'll find him.
I am not the mystery ringer. I am just a...
All right. Yes. All right, give it up for DSD, everybody. Development Services, The Whistle.
All right, so earlier this week on Monday, we played Ethics Jeopardy, and when this comes back around, you got to play. We had 78 people playing Jeopardy, and this is who rose to the top. Come on down, Amber Robles, winner of Ethics Jeopardy.
Yes.
She knows the code, and here she comes.
Give it up for Miss Amber.
She whooped. She had 1,400 points.
That is a lot of points.
Don't mess with Amber in Jeopardy.
Thank you, Amber. All right. All right. This is very exciting. Next, we have the Ethics Achievement Recognition. This is from all of you. You have nominated your colleagues to receive this award. All right. The first award that we have is for Carrie Steele from the convention. Yeah, okay. Convention and Event Services. Please come up, Carrie. Congratulations. Very well done. That's right. Give it up for CES. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you, Carrie. All right. Next, we have Audrey Irwin from Budget and Management Services. Audrey. Yes. Congratulations to Audrey and BMS. Thank you so much for your service. All right, next we have 4 outstanding individuals from Dallas Animal Services. DAS, make some noise, please. All right. The first is Paul Raman. Paul, are you here? Congratulations, Paul. We appreciate you. Carl.
Hold on, Carl's coming up.
Thank you. All right, next from Dallas Animal Services, we have James Jung. James, are you here? He's not here. Carl, would you receive the award on behalf of James, please? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, next we have Shannon Miller. Miss Shannon, thank you for your service. We appreciate you. Congratulations. Thank you, Shannon. Congratulations. All right. Felix Sledge with DAS. Give it up for Felix. Yeah. You want to come? Thank you, Felix. All right. Next, we have from Code Compliance, Rosa Pacina. Rosa. Congratulations, Rosa. All right. Communications, Outreach, and Marketing. Ariel Wallace. Yeah. Give it up for Ariel. Ariel. Thank you, Ariel. We appreciate you.
All the cameras come out for Ariel.
Go Com. Give it up for Com. Come on. All right. Last but not least, Lindsay Lee. Lindsay from Com. Communication, Outreach, and Marketing. Come on. Everybody. Come. One more.
It's not every day Tom gets to be in front of the camera.
All right, a selfie. Thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate you. That is everything. Thank you so much for coming. We truly appreciate you. We could not have done this without you. Thank you again to everyone. So grab some food, please. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Barron and High, who put all of this together for us. Well done.